To get started, I will be using 2 pounds of cleaned and trimmed fresh green beans. And I've already gave them a rinse. Now, what I do next to them is optional. You can most definitely leave them whole just like this. But I am going to slice them several times to sort of make a French cut green bean. Now, I use the term French cut loosely because, to be quite honest, I'm not sure if this is the proper way to French cut a green bean, but it is the closest thing that I can say to describe what I'm doing. So I'm just going to cut it at a diagonal. Since these are longer, I'll do them a couple of times. But what you want to end up with is just a thinner cut green bean. And you can most definitely leave them whole, but I like the texture of the casserole when it's a thinly cut green bean. So I'm just going to continue doing this until I am done. Now that I am done cutting all of my green beans, they look just like this. I'm going to set them aside. Now, in this recipe, I do not blanch my green beans before cooking them in the oven because they're going to cook in the oven. But if you find it more convenient to blanch them first, by all means do that, but I actually do not. Now the next step is optional, but I find it lends great flavor to this casserole. I am going to be frying some bacon. I'm going to render out the bacon fat and use that later, but for now I'm going to chop this into pieces and fry off the bacon until crispy. Okay, so my bacon is not quite there yet, but it's almost there. But what I'm going to do to flavor the rendered bacon grease is add 1 clove of garlic split in the middle, and this is definitely going to add some garlicky flavor that I'm looking for in this casserole. I'm going to fry the garlic in the rendered bacon grease for just a minute, and then I'm going to remove it. I am then going to remove all of the crispy bacon and set it aside until I need it later. So I'm going to reserve my bacon grease because I will be using it later. So this next step could easily be substituted with 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup, but I'm going to make a mushroom cream sauce from scratch. So here in my skillet, I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of that rendered bacon grease that I went ahead and flavored with that garlic. Okay, so my pan has preheated to around a medium heat, and now I am going to saute some sliced mushrooms. You could use the mushrooms of your choice. A good button mushroom works just as well. I think these are called Monterey sliced mushrooms. Baby Bella mushrooms work. So either way, slice some mushrooms. I'm using a pint of sliced mushrooms, and just saute and give them a good brown color. And I am not going to add salt because if you add salt to mushrooms, it will just draw out the moisture from the mushrooms and you will not get a good brown color. So I'm just going to saute these for a couple of minutes until they look just like this. Now that all of my mushrooms are nice and browned, I am going to add some sliced onion. Again, this is optional if you do not like onions. I love onions and I love the flavor. So I am going to use 1 small onion. I thinly sliced it, and now I'm going to continue sauteing it with the mushrooms. Since the mushrooms are browned, this is a good time to add a pinch of salt just to help get the onions nice and translucent. Okay, so now that everything is nice and sauteed, it is time to start this cream sauce. So I'm going to add an additional 3 tablespoons of my rendered bacon grease. You could use 3 tablespoons of butter or oil of your choice. I'm going with bacon grease. Now I am going to add equal parts of all-purpose flour, so that will be 3 heaping tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Now just give that a good mix, and you want to cook out the flour for a minute or so. And I want to mention that I am doing all of this on a medium heat. I am not cooking on high because everything would just burn before it does what you need it to do, so just keep that in mind. Next, I will be adding 4 cups of heavy cream. You could possibly use half and half or whole milk, but just be aware that it might not get thick enough. You probably would need to make a larger amount of roux for it to actually be a thick cream sauce. So this is why I'm opting to use heavy cream in this recipe. I am going to be adding the heavy cream 1 cup at a time. And in between each cup, I'm just going to give it a good stir and allow it to thicken before I add the next cup. Okay, so next I'm going to season my cream sauce. I love to use lemon pepper because I like the bright and freshness that the lemon pepper gives to the cream sauce. It also complements the fresh green beans. So I'm opting to use a ½ teaspoon of lemon pepper. You can add any seasoning or spice that you like, but I always go with lemon pepper. So I'm just going to give that a good mix, then add salt to taste. Now I'm going to take a 9 by 13 baking dish and add my fresh sliced green beans and just pour the cream sauce on top. After giving it a good mix, I'm going to add my crispy bacon. I'm going to cover it with aluminum foil, then I'm going to bake it in a preheated oven of 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 minutes. It has been 45 minutes, and now I am going to carefully remove the aluminum foil. Okay, so one more step. I am going to be adding crispy fried onions, and I'm going to put half of the onions and mix them in with the green beans, and the other half I am going to garnish on top. I will be baking this for an additional 10 minutes. It might take less time, you don't want to burn them, but I am just going to cook them until they are crispy and golden brown. As my casserole continues to bake, I just wanted to show you that I'm going to be serving it alongside some grilled chicken breast for a simple, tasty dinner. And as always, all the ingredients and measurements will be located in the description below. So, with most of my baked dishes, I suggest you wait 10 to 15 minutes so it's not piping hot and you burn yourself when you eat it. But if you're in a rush, go right ahead and dig in. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching! Hey guys, you can click on the video icons for more recipes. Or you can click on my picture icon to subscribe. Thanks for watching.